slight crunch at the top, and the biscuit base. That is superb. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today, air fryer recipe. Now, it's not a usual type of air fryer recipe. We're going to actually try something. We're going to make a tray baked lemon bars. Now, I've not done it before, so you're going to see what I see, and hopefully it should work out. But I want to actually use this air fryer. Now, you can use an oven, a conventional oven. You'd bake at 180 degrees. This air fryer's got a bake setting on for 160. Now, normally you would do a temperature conversion drop for an air fryer and an oven to about 20-25%, which would make this baking at 165 degrees. It's 160 degrees, so let's see what it can do. So right, what we're going to do, we're not going to use anything fancy either. Okay, we've got the tray that comes with the oven. Now, the tray is about 30 centimeters by 25 by about 2 centimeters deep. Okay, so it's just the normal bog standard tray that comes with this oven. It's nothing fancy. Right, what we've got to do, we've got to get some baking paper, and we're going to line this baking paper. A little bit of grease on there, put the baking paper on, and we're going to make like a base. It's going to be like a pastry base, really, and then the lemon filling on the top. That's the theory. So let's crack on and do it. Come on. Also, what I'm using margarine, butter flavored margarine. Okay, don't worry, in the recipe it says butter. Butter here is really expensive. Butter flavored margarine does the job just the same, not a problem. So there's your choice. You use butter, butter margarine. Okay, let's crack on. What we need to do is we need to grease this tray first before we do anything else, because I want to use some of that margarine butter that's already in there. So as with all my recipes then, as everybody knows already, I make it as simple as possible. That's our butter margarine there. There'll be a quantity in the description as per usual. Just scroll down, you'll find the full recipe. But I want to use some of this to grease this tray. So we're just going to take a little bit and we're just going to rub it inside. Now, I don't want to go all up the sides and over the top. You just come up the side a little bit. Okay, don't go over the rim of this tray. We don't need to, I don't think. Okay, now cut yourself some baking parchment, size of the tray, cut in the corners so it folds in the bottom. Just like that. Fold the ends in. It's basically making a parcel. So if we fold the ends in like that, it should, in theory, stay there. Now, I'm not going to guarantee it, because don't forget there's a fan on this thing. But what we're going to do, we're going to use the bake setting, and we're going to put the fan on low to start off with and see what happens. Now, that's a good thing about this oven. It has a bake setting for a low fan and a high fan. So let's just try the low fan first, and then we might have to adjust as we go along. Okay, so that is our tray lined with our baking paper. Okay, let's just put that on there. Now, I'm going to preheat the oven a little bit later, and it'll only be for about 2 minutes or so after I've made the pastry base. Grab yourself a bowl, 300 grams thereabouts, all-purpose flour. We've got a little bit of sugar because it's making it into a sweet pastry base. And then we need to be going in there with our butter or margarine. So we're going to put that in there. Now, you can cube it all up and all that carry on like you would normally if you're using cold butter. It's 40 degrees here today. It's a hot country. We're still making this pastry base, okay? So in it goes. And we want to turn all this into breadcrumbs. Breadcrumb consistency. Now, if you had a food processor, you could just chuck it all in and whiz it up and it's finished within a second. But you know, this is quite therapeutic actually. Nice and steady. It's not hard. So we're showing you the old-fashioned way. So just nice and steady, lift up, nice little rub, gentle rub, don't be squashing it yet, and we want breadcrumbs. Okay, so we've got this lovely light breadcrumb mixture. It's only taken a couple of minutes, and that is as good as using a food processor. And obviously we've only got the bowl to clean and our hands. That is it. Right. Now, in theory, because we're making this light, it's like a rich short crust pastry in a way, but there's nothing in here. It's going to be a crumbly base, and the butter's going to hold it all together and it'll bake. So there's nothing wet in this mix at all to bring it together. So hopefully it should work. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to take our tray and we're just going to put this air fryer on, okay? We're going to switch it on and we're actually going to put it to the bake setting, so it's already preheated to 160. So it's really straightforward with this oven. You know, you've got the selections on here and we're actually going to go to bake, which is only the second one in. Oh, it says 140, sorry, I'm saying 160. Okay, 140, it's quite low. Okay, we're still going to try it, okay? I actually did think it was 160 degrees this. It's 140 degrees. And obviously that's a massive reduction from 20-25% from 180 degrees you would normally bake at. So it's quite a long way down. So we might have to increase the time slightly. Now I was going to bake for 160 degrees for around about 11 minutes. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to do 140 degrees for about 15 minutes. That should crack it. Fingers crossed. Okay, so bake setting is 140. Okay, and then we just need to set the time to 15. I'm going to give it 17 minutes because I'm going to give it 2 minutes to warm up while I put that in there. I'm going to press start. Oops, sorry. I'm going to press start. Okay, now it's going to whir away in the background a little bit while we press this into here. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to take our mix and we're going to put it in there. And I've got a little spatula thing, we're just going to press it down. So we want that in there. And then just level it out. Nice and gently, and start to flatten it down and try and get it quite level. Just get this spoon on here. Let's try and level it out. So that's about as smooth as I'm going to get it today, to be honest. Now as soon as this hits 15 minutes, we're going to put that in there. Okay, we've got 15 minutes on the clock. We're going to take our tray, and our tray is going straight in there. Now I've gone for about the second rack up because I'm not sure how this is going to work. We're going to bake it for the 15 minutes. So whilst that's baking in there and we've adjusted the time, we're just going to take a hand mixer, just move that to one side. Now you can use a mixer if you want, but I think this is going to be easier. We're going to go in there with our eggs. We're going to go in there with all our sugar. We're going to go in there with our lemon juice. We're going to go in there with our flour. Can you see I make this really hard? And we want some baking powder. So let's have that in there. And then we're going to mix it all together. It's not going to go in any stiff peaks or anything like that. It's a runny egg lemon mixture. Okay, so that's finished our 15 minutes. Let's have a look. Now, what I am going to do, I'm going to do an old-fashioned trick, because that is not golden brown as such, and I think we add our fluid to that, it's going to soak in. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a beaten egg and we're going to put like an egg seal on. And then what we're going to do is put that back in there for about 2 minutes. So that is going back in there. Of course, it's only got a setting for 5 minutes, not to worry. So it's back in there. We'll give it a couple of minutes and it's going to form a natural seal over the top. Then we'll put our egg mixture in. Okay, so we're going to take that out of there. Okay, sealed a little bit, but this is no guarantee. What we need to do now is pour over our topping. Now if I've worked it out all right, it should be fine. And can you see why we put this lip on? But I've worked it out so there should be enough filling to the top of the tray, which there is. Now whether it works or not when it goes in there will be a different thing. It might rise up and bubble over, I'm not sure. So what we need to do now, we need to get that back in that air fryer. So that was a bit of a gingerly way of putting it in. So we got that back in there. Okay, we got that back in there. The fan's on low, it's 140. We're going to heat it for about 20 minutes. The problem is with it being an air fryer, it's already starting to circulate round. That's why we've got it on low bake. Now what I'm anticipating is the bars are going to come up like this and there'll be a loop in the middle. Let's just see. Okay, we're on end hot. Let's have a look. Now there we are, as expected, where the fan spins round inside. But that doesn't matter because we'll bar it up and we'll just eat that bit. So there's not a problem there. Right, what we need to do now is let it cool. Let it cool down and then we can cut some slices and we can see how it turned out. Right, so what we're going to do actually to cool it down, we're actually going to put it on a wire rack. I think that, ooh, that's hot. That might be the best idea. So let's get that out onto there, let it cool down. Okay, what I am going to do very quickly is I've got one of these wheels and I'm just going to mark. So that's going to give us a rough guide where to go. Now, how big do we want these? Are we going to do squares, lemon bar squares? We are. So we're going to come in there roughly about that big. So we'll just let that cool down and then we'll finish it off with a knife. If I can get one, is our lemon bars. Look at those. Now, what does it taste like? That is amazing. Oh man, I'll have this other bit. That is delicious. The crunch of the top, slight crunch of the top, and the biscuit base, that is superb. You know, and I tell you what I will work with this as well. You could put some icing over the top, and you can put some yellow icing, lemon flavoured if you want, and just straight across, put some lines on, and you would have a fantastic lemon bar with the icing on. It look really classy. In fact, worth selling at a shop. That is fantastic. So look at that. That is our lemon bars made in our tray. Nice and simple, straightforward in there. What a fantastic little biscuit dessert to eat with a coffee. Oh, so there you go. If you like what we're doing, don't forget, smash that like and subscribe, share with your friends, all that kind of stuff. We'll catch you in the next video.